Okay, so watching the video of the Japanese school, I noticed that the gym is different as far as what they do for gym classes is the gym puts on a show for the parents and the kids. Like, we're making a pyramid like I would think of a cheerleaders doing. I've never had to make a pyramid like that before in gym class, so to me that is different. And then instructional wise, I noticed that there's an order for everything, you know, where they said like taking your slippers off and when they go to the bathroom, like they have to have different slippers for the bathroom, and then they're graded on how well the slippers are lined up in these like foot marks on the floor. And to me, that's just like someone being OCD. So that's definitely a culture shock for me, and I'm pretty sure I'd fail that. And then for the classroom, there's a class leader, that directs the class. There's different roles for students in the classroom in the U.S. Like my daughter, you know, her last name's the first name called out because she starts with an A. So she's always, unless some kid starts, you know, before AM, she's always line leader because she starts the class because she's the first alphabetical name. So things like that, but I'm never leading a class. I've never seen or experienced something like that. And then they brush their teeth after lunch. I don't know what kid gets out of lunch and gets to go brush their teeth, which, I mean, I've eaten at the lunchroom with my daughter, and they only get like 25 minutes to eat, and that includes going through the line and getting their food, so I don't see them rushing so they can go brush their teeth. And then the students also grade themselves on their attitude and their appearance. Now, some projects, when you get older, you know, you do a self-assessment, like how did I do on this project and things like that. But like this seems like it's an everyday thing. We're going to grade ourselves, and that's different than the US. So academically, that would be a struggle. They would constantly want to seek perfection, I guess, and want to know how they're doing. And not that teachers don't tell students how they're doing. You know, if you're lacking a little bit, they're going to nudge you, or, you know, they're going to go, great job. But, you know, as far as like wanting to make sure they're doing every single thing right, you know, that would be a culture shock for them. It's been shown that, or proven that the ELLs who know their language and continue to use it helped understand and learn English better. So that's what teachers would need to know about the student's home language. And then that way teachers can assess how best to instruct those students by how proficient they are in their home language, how proficient they are in English. That way, you know, they're not throwing them into a lesson that they have no clue about, because if the class is currently, you know, too far ahead in learning for the student, they're falling behind, you know, like they'll have no clue what's going on. Or let's say, you know, the student is so wise and so educated already that when they came here, the class is too far behind the student's education. Well, then that student could be bored, and, you know, it suffer boredom, and then there could be like, you know, attitude problems and such, or behavior problems, because they're bored in class and they're not challenged. That also goes along with obviously knowing the student's educational history. Sociocultural experiences is important. So like I said, there's no extreme culture shock. If the teacher knows the student's sociocultural experiences, we can modify our classroom a little bit for that particular student. So like I said, so there becomes no big culture shock. Maybe if that student is so, you know, assertive for making sure, you know, seeking for perfection, or constant praise or something like job well done, you know, maybe the teacher could continue encouraging that student. Or then, you know, just turn around and learn to encourage the rest of the students that way. Encouragement is never, you know, it's never a problem. Inflated ego is a problem, but encouraging students, that's not a problem. So as far as the video, I could tell that it was a science class. Oops, I gotta hurry. I used my different schemas to figure this out. I could tell it was a science class. She was talking about safety first as far as wearing the appropriate gear. I heard the words vinegar and ammonia. I think she told the class to pair up, and because of this, I kept hearing the word icicle, and then I realized she was saying acidity. So the test was acidity of different chemicals is the experiment I got out of that. What obviously makes this difficult is it's a different language. Maybe the teachers could be more hands-on as far as like every time they talked about a specific something, hold it up or point to it. That way there's more physical cues and visual learning for the ELL student. And then obviously you wouldn't want to put different ELLs together because, you know, if one's like from Mexico and one's from China and things like that, like they're already struggling to learn language. They don't need to deal with each other's, you know, culture differences. So I don't mean that in a bad way. Obviously, they need to learn about each other. But as far as like learning how to do a project or something, I think putting ELLs with, you know, students already know English and know how to do the assignment will help them more because they learn from their peers. And peer help is better sometimes than just teacher instructional help because then they can relate to each other and the students will learn better that way.